Hello, folks. I am back with another firearms review, and no, it's not on the Copperhead this time. I was inspired by this. I'm really having a lot of fun with this firearm right now, and it's just dead on accurate to be for the size that it is, and it's also very compact. One of the things I want to mention, a lot of people question what is the purpose and what is the use for this. Well, actually, the Copperhead is in competition right now with other firearms manufacturers for the U.S. Army or military's uh, dignitary protection, VIP protection of their generals. And right now, this particular firearm or a variant thereof, just similar to the MHS program, is going through the trials right now. I can only imagine only two competitors that I could think of that the Copperhead would be in competition with. One would be with CZ with its micro, which I know that law enforcement had made a request to have something that small, and also probably H&K, which has been a long-standing firearm throughout the world. But it's not about this firearm today. It's about the another firearm that this inspired me to get. And it is actually its predecessor. It's actually the MPX. And this is the newest version of the MPX. And as you see here, it's with the folded brace. I'm working a little bit cramped space here, so I'm going to be moving the camera around a bit. I'm sorry about that. But here it is. This is your MPX. Now, this is the FDE version of the MPX. I believe it is the K version, and this is the most recent model because how you can tell that is it has the arm brace. This is the newer type arm brace that SIG is doing right now. As you see with this particular arm brace, and it is a pistol, it can swivel to when you put your arms inside, you'll be able to swivel it instead of having your arm so taut in one position like with other braces. So this is one of the reasons why they made the swivel. And I'm going to lock this out right now. And this is what it looks like at full length. And also you can know that this is the newest version is, as you see with the Copperhead, the grip is made in this particular style. It's a comfortable grip to me. I don't have any problems when I was shooting the Copperhead. There are going to be probably a lot of people that might switch this out with aftermarket configurations. Also, the other main difference with this is the barrel length. The barrel length is 8 inches. Now, I'm not going to get into all the other specs because, number one, I went through them with the Copperhead, and plus pretty much most of the MPX specs are pretty much the same. They shared pretty much a same common footprint of the AR-15, so to speak, a little bit of it. When I purchased this, this particular one is a special one. As you see, it's in FDE, and the optic, the Romeo 5 optic, came with it. And so when I purchased it, everything was already connected. The brace here is connected, as well as the optic, and that it came together all in one format. Usually, when you buy the MPXs, you have to put the brace on yourself or put the optic on yourself. It was already attached. Now, the only thing I did have to attach is, I don't know if you can see it because it's black in color now. Let me see if I can get a better angle, is this piece here. This is a QD point sling attachment. You have to put that on yourself, and it goes across the Picatinny rails. So you can put that on yourself in any position you would want to. And there's also a QD attachment for your sling right here that's already made into the frame portion or receiver portion of the firearm itself. Uh, as with all the MPX lines, it's made with ambidextrous controls. Um, if you look here, of course, you see your safety here. And I'm just going to try to be a little careful not to knock my camera over. So I'm going to close this sling to make it close this brace. It's a little bit, you got to get used to pressing here and then closing it out. And it stays firm, so you don't have to use a magnet like some braces do. This stays fixed and firm, so you can shoot this firearm with this closed. Now, I know in my Daniel defense, you cannot do that because there's a buffer tube that comes out the back, and you need the buffer tube to take in the recoil of the bolt that's coming back. But on this particular firearm, there's internally, and I'm not going to take it apart, or maybe if I get gutsy enough, I will. There are two recoil springs in here, which everybody is pretty much familiar with. Getting back to what I was saying about the safeties, these safeties are ambidextrous, as you see here. And the thing about the ambidextrous safety is it does not annoy my hand right here on the knuckle like the CZ Scorpion. I have mentioned that before on the other video, and there's no issues. They do come with extra safeties if you do need it. It also comes with, which really shocked me, is it came with two 30-round magazines. And because it's kind of funny, because the Copperhead only came with one 20-round magazine, but with this one, they give you two 30-round magazines. One thing about the magazines I'm going to mention, I didn't mention before, that if you notice right here, it is brown. That represents that this is a Gen 2 magazine. So those of you who have MPXs, you have a black follower. This is going to be like a tan follower. They will interchange with each other, but SIG stresses that if you use a Gen 2 magazine, keep it with the Gen 2 firearms. And if you have a Gen 1, keep it with the Gen 1 firearms. Even though they will work, it's just what they are recommending that you do. Also, speaking of the magazines, that was a reason why I got on that tangent, is because, and as you see, it's unloaded. You have a ambidextrous mag release. I'm moving that out of the way. Now, traditionally on the AR-15, the magazine release is not on the left-hand side, but you do have one here, and you just press that, and it comes out. And then you do have a second, the regular traditional mag release, which is going to be up here. So this is a little more traditional, where you just use your forefinger. Unfortunately, I can't do that right now with the camera. So you just press here for the magazine to come out, and I'm not on the right angle for this to come out, but you get the point. Also, how it is ambidextrously is this is your bolt release. Now, this is a bolt release on this side. On the other side, it's only going to be your traditional bolt catch and your bolt release. So, if you look at that ping pong paddle, you're familiar with that. So let's say all you do is you hold down your bolt catch here, and you're going to pull this back. I'm going to be out of the frame for a minute. And then, as usual, your charging handle goes forward. And this is your bolt release here. But I'm going to use this side. This side is obviously going to be your ambidextrous one. And you press that with your forefinger, and your bolt goes forward. Now, Also, I noticed a little bit of a difference between this and the Copperhead. This one has a dust cover. Now, on the Copperhead, it does not have a dust cover, and I'm going to let you see that. And there's a reason why I want you to see that. As you see right here, this is just a beveled area with no dust cover, and there are no spots for a dust cover. Let me just place these around, and they are all, both of these firearms are pretty much made in the same size. And right now I'm going to put them on top of each other, and there you have it. You see they're basically the same size with the same mechanical makeup, and you can see that, like I said before, the barrel is 8 inches. So that's your difference between your 3-inch and your 8-inch barrel. Note that on the Copperhead, this barrel has an integrated flash hider, or muzzle brake, rather, I should say. And this is a different one right here. This is your more like a traditional bird cage right here. Most people will take this and they'll take this off and make attachments so they can put on suppressors. Now, with the Copperhead, you'll have to get a different barrel, roughly about a 4-inch barrel, and then make those adjustments. I have not had the time to shoot this today because it was a pretty busy day, and the range I was going to was pretty much packed, so I'm going to have to wait till maybe Monday. There are a lot of good features on here. As you see, this is your key mod rail here, free floating barrel. Now, on the Copperhead, as you know, it's a monolithic rail with no key mod attachments or anything, because it's just made so it can be deployed smoothly. This is more traditional to your AR-15, where you can have other attachments, lights or lasers or whatever you want to do. I wanted to really get something that's pretty much from the same platform. And I've been getting into pistol caliber carbines or something of the like, especially like with the CZ Scorpion. And I'm starting to get into those now because, for one, they are rated as pistols, and number two, they're easier to transport. Sometimes if you have a rifle, it gets a little bit cumbersome, or wherever you are, you don't want people wondering what's in your bag or anything like this. This can be deployed discreetly in a gym bag or backpack or whatnot. If it's anything like the Copperhead, it's going to be very accurate, especially with that Romeo 5 optic. I will, however, only thing I will probably do is get the Magpul Imbus Pro sights for the front and rear just to co-witness. I'm not going to do that with the Copperhead because it wouldn't really make sense because of the distance that it, being a 3-inch barrel and the distance from the rear to the front, it's not going to have that amount of what you would say space or I can't think of the word right now, but it doesn't have that distance. So this would be the perfect firearm for that. All in all, lately I've been getting into pretty much a lot of the SIG products. Even though I'm not a fan of the 320 series, there's no denying that SIG makes other products that are very good, especially when it comes to their classic line of recently the P220 that I've recently acquired, the Legion version that was single action. And they just seem to have it well down pat when it comes to the MPX, the MCX. And and their classic line. So really, I'm really been kind of like on a SIG kick lately, but this is going to be it for a while. So I'm going to be exploring and doing some more shooting with this and the Copperhead, because a lot of people have been giving a lot of hate toward the Copperhead. I don't think it's fairly justified unless you actually really take the time to fire one. But this is pretty much how the Copperhead started. It started with this particular chassis. Uh, and that's how a lot of your firearms, any firearm for that matter, starts off with a larger frame and end up with these smaller compact versions. So that's all I have really for this particular firearm. Like I said, there's tons of videos on these. This is just the latest iteration of the MPX. Like I said, this is the newest one so far. And if you go on SIG's site, you're not going to see this on there because SIG has this crazy way of forever changing whatever models that they have without warning. So with that said, that's all I have, folks, and happy shooting, #2A.